Hi, did you know that if you know 3,000 words in the English language, you can pretty much say everything you need to say? I'm teaching you 3,000 words in 3,000 days. Creative. Notice when I say the word creative, this T is pronounced like a D. Creative. And the reason the T turns to a D sometimes in North American English is because of where the stress is on the words. Creative. The stress is before this syllable tiv. Creative. And I want to pull that stress back in the last syllable. So I mute, I bring the T from that explosive T sound down to a D sound. Creative. This girl is very creative. She has a lot of thoughts in her head and she wants to create things. Create. Now, when I said create, I'm ending it with a T sound because the iv is not there anymore. So the create needs to be when I make it a D sound, it needs to be in the middle of a word with the stress before it. We often say a creative person is an artistic person. So this girl looks very artistic. A creative person can make things. She can also think of things. Sometimes we say creative people think outside of the box. So this is an idiom that we often use to talk about creative thinking, to think outside of the box. So here's a box, and if I'm going to think outside of it, it's not very creative to just think of what's inside the box, what you're used to thinking about. But if your idea is out here, you are thinking outside the box or outside of the box. Outside of the box is something that we always want to, it's a very positive way of thinking. However, we also like things to be familiar. So there's always a tension between outside of the box thinking and familiarity. Another word for creative would be innovative. Innovative is a word that is often creative because if something is innovative, it means it wasn't created before. It's a new thing. So it is innovative. It is creative. You have to think of something that nobody's ever thought of before to be innovative. So some of the ways that we use this is we describe talent. She's a creative artist who can transform the simplest materials into stunning sculptures. Stunning is another word for beautiful. So she's a creative artist who can transform the simplest materials into stunning sculptures. The team came up with a creative solution to overcome the budget constraints. Often our creativity comes forward when we are faced with a problem. That's when I find that I am most creative, is when I am faced with a problem. He works in a creative position at an advertising agency where he develops innovative campaign ideas. Your creative approach to teaching really helps students understand complex concepts. Your creative approach. We often use the word approach with creative. So to approach something means to come up to it. If you approach something in a creative way, then it's a new way or a different way of doing it that might help people understand things better. Being creative isn't just about art. It's about thinking outside the box in any situation. Thinking outside the box is the idiom. Being creative isn't just about art. The opposite of creative might be unimaginative. So I'm going to go back here and put one more synonym for creative, which would be imaginative. 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 No, this one, notice, imaginative. I put the right here. That's our accent, which means this T is now pronounced as a T again. Whether it's, so this can get very complicated. Do I say it like a T or do I say it like a D? Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. People will understand you if you say imaginative or imaginative. People will understand you if you say creative or if you say creative. If you are worried about like you really want to say the T at the right time and the D at the right time, the best way to do that is to listen a lot and figure out. It has to do with where the accent is in the word and where that T is. So in this one, I would say creative. It's because the accent is on this A. Here it's imaginative. The accent is on this A, not right before the T. All right, so unimaginative. Remember when we have an opposite, we can often put an un in front of the word and it becomes the opposite. The noun is creation. Creation. Another noun would be creativity. Creativity. So that's when we're talking about the person who has a creative talent. We say, wow, that took a lot of creativity. And the creation would be the sculpture or the piece of artwork or the idea. The verb is create, to create. And an adjective is creative, creative genius, a creative genius. The adverb is creatively. He creatively drew a masterpiece. So when we have an adverb, we're talking about how it happened. How did he draw the masterpiece? Creatively. All right. I really hope that you enjoyed this word today. I really hope that you practice it, use it every day. Use it 5 times today, even if you're just talking to yourself. The more you use it and the more it comes through your mouth, the better you will remember it, and it becomes part of your ability to speak. So good luck with your practice, and I hope to see you back in the next lesson.